Command Center access granted. Welcome to the Command Center, Captain. Engaging forward control panel. Center access granted.
Well, hello, and welcome. Let me see if I can't
Welcome to the
mute these here. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us live as we take a little adventure, a little trip behind the scenes of game development, coming to you on Twitch and on YouTube now. So wherever you are joining us from, thank you for being here. And I do encourage you to just reach out, say hello in chat, either place. I got to get used to and accustomed to checking all of that. So it would be nice to be able to say hi, welcome you in officially. And yeah. All right. Got that all up there. Let's see. We got a few things here for you. Here we go. A little late.
That's the ticket.
Little delay there. A little late on that one, but all right. Do appreciate you being here, tuning in. My name's Vale, and I'm with Golden Character Design. And here we do all kinds of different behind-the-scenes stuff. Tonight is a dev night where basically I'm coding and working on some development projects and just sharing that process with you and allowing you to participate in the choices I make when it comes to what exactly I'm working on next. That way, if there's something in particular that sounds intriguing to you, you can push the vote in that direction and hopefully get some insights yourself. Of course, you're always welcome to reach out with questions or comments in the chat, and I'll do my best to respond to those as we go along. Don't feel like you're interrupting. I appreciate the company, the conversation, and the ability to serve everybody who is here supporting what we're doing. So thank you again for being here. I've got a poll in the chat here on the Twitch side. If you would like to vote on which project we are going to be working on, you've got 5 options here, and those are the Floral Studio, Pandemonium Puzzle, Exiles Eden, Dads, or the ship environment in which we sit here. If you've been here before, you know all of these projects. If you haven't, you probably don't have a clue. I can, give you a rundown on any of them if you've got questions, if you're curious. We got about 6 minutes or so for you to be able to chime in with your votes on that poll. And so whichever one gets the most votes, that's what I'll work on. So that's simple. Yeah, we got fun stuff to do in each of those projects. I've even got additional projects, but I think that's plenty to choose from for one evening. I definitely have more than I can handle already, so we can stick to those. Let's see. This week, been celebrating the release of Pandemonium Puzzle. So that's number 2 on that project options list. We've got some bug fixes and some other touch-up things that we can work on. But it is actually officially released. If you are interested in picking up that game, it's available through Google Play or the App Store, free to play with no ads. And I hope you'll check that out. Even more importantly, I would love to have you join us this Saturday on our stream, regular time, 48 hours from now. We will be doing a live stream here on both Twitch and YouTube and doing an official launch party. Yeah, so we're going to kick off Pandemonium Puzzle right. We're going to give tips and insights. We're going to talk to folks from the team. We're going to do a giveaway and announce a tournament. We're gonna just have fun. So join us for that 6:30 p.m. Pacific time this Saturday, 2 days from now, and that's live. So if you're watching this after the fact, you'll have to do the math on when that is, or was, I guess. Could be in the past. All right. So while we're here, let's actually venture on out into space. We'll leave Earth here behind and head out for some vast location where we can explore and just focus on our dev work. So let's see. Let's just go ahead, buckle up. This is a quick ride. All right, out in the middle of nowhere. That's all right by me. And then, yeah, just help me decide which project to share on the screen here and dive into code-wise, development-wise. Again, you got 5 choices, and you got about 3 or 4 minutes left in the poll to be able to cast your vote on the project. So, how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're well. Curious to know what kind of projects you have going on yourself, whether it's dev projects or doing your own thing. Maybe you're not in game development. Always curious to know what you guys are working on and have going on as well. All right. I feel like I had something else I was going to share. And that's what happens when I don't take notes. I don't I'm like, oh, I should write that down and leave myself a note. I'm like, going live in a couple of minutes. I'll remember. It's always funny to me that I think I'm going to remember that stuff. I don't know. Just one of those things. All right, let's see. What do we got? We got all kinds of stuff to work on. And of course, depending on the project that we pick, I've got a lot of different tasks or options to work from. So let's see what we do. Boom. Depending on time, time permitting, we could even work on multiple projects and/or multiple tasks. We don't have to limit ourselves too much, but yeah. I've got a commercial I'm making for Pandemonium Puzzle. I've got way too many projects going on here. About 4,000 things open on my computer. We were talking the other night about needing more monitor space. Maybe I have to go to that 6 monitor layout that I was kind of half joking about. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. Especially when I'm streaming. It's not bad when I'm not streaming. I can usually get along just fine with my monitor setup. I have 3 monitors, and it's plenty for when I'm not streaming. But when I'm streaming, I feel like it's just nowhere near enough. I kind of need 3 monitors just to monitor all my stream stuff. And then my normal 3 monitors for doing my work on are at least 2 and 2. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I put my big screen TV up as the 4th monitor. I do have that hooked up. That feels like so far away, and it's behind the lighting. All right, time's almost out on the project vote. If you would like to get in your vote here on which project we're going to develop tonight, or at least to get us started off tonight, hurry. Time is running out. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Do that. All right. Let's see. We got this. And let's go and open this up as well. Like I said, I need more screens. Still trying to open stuff. All right. Poll's closed. So to get it started off tonight, it looks like the winner is the Floral Studio. We're going to start off in that project. For anyone who is unfamiliar with this project, I am working on developing a 3D environment in which the user creates a floral arrangement. It is meant to be a very realistic feel and have cameras that let you kind of fly around the scene and be able to create a representation of what an environment will look like for a potential client or a client for a floral designer. So this is more of a tool than it is a game, and I can give you kind of a brief glimpse at what this looks like. Let me do this. We'll put this on the screen here. We'll do maximize. There's that. Let me put this up on the view screen for you. Where'd it go? Oh, I think it's there. It's just basically this big black box, so it looks like it's not there. Let me move this down a little bit so that we're kind of a little bit more on screen, at least up at the top. All right, that looks better. Very nice. Okay, so here we have our Floral Studio environment, which hopefully you guys can make this out. This is the menu up top. Basically tells us which mode we are in. If I go ahead and hit play on this, boom, boom, we have, let's see, I should open up. Ooh, I definitely need to get more organized here on this side of things. It's been a while since I've gotten an opportunity to work on this project, so good choice. Good choice. Don't worry if there's another one that's your favorite. If it didn't win the vote, doesn't mean we can't get to it. Let's see. Okay. So here it is running. Basically off to the side we have a little color-coded section that matches the mode that we're in. So currently we're in project mode. So the settings have like a project name and an open project button. We can switch this to our room mode, and the tools will switch to that to match that mode, and the color also changes to match. Same here with any of these other modes: surfaces, vessels, mechanics, props, floral collections, lighting, and camera. So if we start, really simple with a room and we add a new item, we get this catalog of various room items, such as a floor. We can drop in like this brick floor in here. It highlights yellow because it is a surface, and if we pop over here into our surface mode, we get this kind of yellowish brown mode color. And so this shows us that this is the current selected item, which allows us to place items on that surface. For example, if we go over here to our vessels mode and click new item, we get some options for some different vases. We should probably put a table to put them on those. So let's go back to our surfaces mode and pick out a table. So we could grab like this round covered one, and we drop that in scene. And there you can kind of see our, it's not the best view. It's a little cut off at the bottom. I'm going to shrink this down just a bit. Give you a little bit better view. So we've got our table here. I'm just using the mouse to zoom in and out. I can also use the mouse to navigate around this in 3D space, which is pretty cool. And then if we select our table, which we see it selected up here, we can add a vase to the top of it. This is our current catalog of vases, so we'll grab like this one. And it's tinted blue because it matches our blue vessel mode. And then we can drop some flowers in it. Go over to our floral mode. I'm not sure why it jumped in like that. Where did our vase go? It disappeared. That was a weird little glitch. Okay, obviously something we need to work out. Is our vase hiding under the table? That's a very odd thing because it's still there. Alright, well I deselected it. Let's try adding, let's go to back to our table. We're going to select the table. Let's add another vase. Okay. And then we'll switch to floral mode. See, now when we're switching to floral mode, our vases are dropping to the floor underneath the table. That is a weird glitch. Alright, let's start a list. This is good. Alright. I've got all my launch party notes on the launch party for tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday. Tomorrow's Game Jelly night. I hope you guys can join us for that. We've got 4 of us who will be on the stream as we work on developing that game. And then on Saturday, we'll do our launch party, so join us for that. Okay, so we're going to make Floral Studio. And we're going to note vases drop to floor when selecting floral mode. That is weird glitch. Super weird glitch. Alright, well now that we know where they are, I'm going to remove this item. We're going to delete that. And we're going to go back to our vessels and select this one that is here. Let's see if we can move it out from under the table at least. That is weird. Alright. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to move it back onto the table the way I have the current program because they're only meant to be on the surface. So why is it switching parents? That's the problem. It's basically being set as a child object to the table, and then for some reason when we're selecting floral, it's jumping and becoming a child object of the floor. So yeah, odd little bug. Had never seen that before. So anyway, we should still be able to put some flowers in it. Here we have our basic flower catalog. I've got a lot of work to build this out. We do have some items that our modeler artist has added into the program, and so we just need to add those into our catalog, set the appropriate information for them so that they function correctly with the program as it's developed so far. But we can add, for example, just the rose if we want to do that. We get this pink color because it is tinted purple. So it is a red rose, as you can see up here in our selection item. But because it is selected, which gives us the opportunity to move it around. Now, interesting, it did the same thing. When I went to go move the flower, it also jumped down to the floor instead of being up at the rim of the vase. Very odd. With the flowers, though, we have the ability to move them vertically. So that one is fixable. We can put it in here. We can also angle this. We can turn it to whatever direction we want. We can angle it to whatever direction we want. So a lot we can do to try to get the look that we're going for. Move that out there if we want to have it kind of hanging over the edge like that, maybe. I don't know. But you get that. And then if we select something else, let's deselect our rows so that we get the color back. Oh, it zoomed way out. Let's see. Vessels. Let's boom, zoom into that. You can see our red rows there. You know, yeah, one of many. So anyhow, that's, you know, the base concept of what we're doing here. Of course, a couple bugs in there. Let's see, vases and flowers drop to floor when selecting. It's basically when selecting anything, I think. I'm getting that impression. All right, very glitchy indeed. We can also build out our room more, like we can add walls. Where's our catalog? We can just add some beige walls. We are working right now. I mentioned the 3D artist and modeler, Ludum, who, if you've been in here at all, you've probably seen him around. He is working on developing our first test environment, which is a full-fledged designed room rather than just this generic floor and generic walls. The idea is it is actually a full model room based on a real event space, so that we can work in creating a very real look and feel to some samples. So yeah, very cool. All right, now what do we need to do? That's an interesting thing. Okay. That bug has me bugged. Yeah, okay. So it would be nice to fix that. I've got that here on the list. I don't know if I should put up a poll or if I should just work on that. Let's see. We could import, we could set up, add additional new items, add new items to catalog. Not a quick little process. It does take a little bit of work depending on what item it is. We have to add some points and stuff for the program to be able to determine, so that when we place, say, a duplicate item, for example, if I were to add another table in here right now, let's say I select the floor and say, okay, I want to add a table to this floor. So we go add new item, and we want to add another table. We don't want it to appear in the exact same spot because there's already a table there. So it's supposed to calculate an appropriate distance based on the space available in the room, a good spot to put it. It does not look like it did that, though. It put them right over the top of each other. So let's add that to the list. So placement of additional not working. All right. Unfortunate. The other thing that we can do, at least we're supposed to be able to do, is place, like, let's say we have this table selected. we can add multiple. So let's say we want to add this black box canister to hold our flowers, but we want to add, instead of clicking it, I'm going to first change our quantity over here, and let's say we want 4 of them. I don't know. And now I'll click it. And yeah, we've definitely got a problem. It has, it dropped it to the floor, put them all in the center originally, then dropped it to the floor. So we have all kinds of issues. Oy. Okay. Yeah.
That's not so good.
Not really. Oh, I'm moving the whole table. Let's change back to vessels. Select the vessel. And let's move. These. They're stacked up on top of each other, and they are definitely not supposed to be. So that's also a big time glitch. All right, so a couple bugs to work out. Cool. So I guess we can post those as options to work on. If anybody has a preference, let me throw this up. Oh, I'm not going to throw it up. That's disgusting. I'm going to add it to a poll. Question, which task? We can do fix bug with items on floor. Let's do all right. Or we can add new catalog items, or we can fix placement of duplicate items. Let me change the time on this poll, and we'll hit start. Oh, all right. For those of you who are in ad break, welcome back. For those of you who have just joined us, welcome in. Glad to have you aboard our vessel as we do a little bit of work on some game development, working on this Floral Studio program. This 3D environment that allows us to create floral designs. I've got 3 tasks that I need to prioritize added to a poll in the chat. If one of those sounds appealing to you, go ahead and cast a vote. One is going to be adding new items to our catalog. The other 2 are bug fixes, which are going to make the program run smoother and better, more appropriate to the way it's supposed to be. For some reason, our items are dropping to the floor when we change what's going on, when we change mode or select something else, which is a very weird little glitch, so we want to fix that. And also, we have an issue with when you place multiple items, they are stacking instead of recognizing, hey, there's already an item here, so it needs to calculate a better place to put it and drop it in elsewhere. So yeah, that's what's coming. Okay, cool. Cast your vote if you would like to, if you have a preference on one of those 3. About 3 minutes left on that, so we'll let people roll in and put in their contributions. Appreciate everybody participating and helping us determine which direction we're going. Sometimes I just don't know, you know, and it's almost better to have somebody say, hey, work on this, instead of trying to make the decision myself. All right. I think what I'm going to do as we get down to around 2 minutes left on this poll for people to cast their votes, is I am going to grab another water, which gives me the opportunity to use this new little feature and clip that I have here momentarily. So
I'll be back.
all right, I'm back. It wasn't too long. Just needed to grab another water. If you've just stepped in, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And you do have another minute left to cast your vote on which task we're going to work on here within our Floral Studio project. So, yeah. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everybody is doing exceptional today. Let's
How are you doing? No. How you doing? What? How you doing?
All right. Well, welcome in. It's kind of funny. I'm actually hoping that we get one of those bots to drop in the channel. We get almost every day, I get some bot that pops in and they try to spam, post some website, usually some inappropriate website, in the chat, and I got to ban them. And so I'm actually hoping that somebody comes in, because I've created this whole new feature where we're going to actually have an alert go off to notify us. We're going to go into red alert, and we're going to get notification from the computer that we're under attack. And then I can ban them, and we get to blow them out of the sky. And so it's going to be very cool. But I need to have somebody show up with that in order to test to see if my code is even set up properly. I put in all the pieces. Everything is there to work. But I don't know if I've coded the trigger properly, because I need to see the exact verbiage that comes up from my bots to warn me of the situation. So, yeah, that's what I got to look for. Anyway, it looks like the winner of the poll was Fix the Bug with the Items on the Floor. So we're going to take a look at that. Never had seen this issue before, so it's kind of odd to me how all of a sudden it became introduced. But for some reason, so what we'll do real quick to start is let's just do a little testing and see how this is happening. Because like this one dropped to the floor, but this one doesn't seem to be doing that. It's staying on the table. Well, we can go off the table, but it's staying at the height of the table. We're going to have to eventually create something that forces us to probably stay on the table. Maybe. More than likely. But these are just fine. Now what happens if we switch to floral it stayed as well. So it's only the last item we placed, maybe? So weird that that happened. So let's do another test. Let's add in a let's add in another vase and see what happens. So we'll go to vessels and we'll hit add new item. Let's add a white box this time. Okay, and it dropped it right in the middle of the table. But wow, that's weird. Oh, there it is. They're overlapped. All right. Gotcha. Okay. So it did not drop to the floor either. Is it just our first item that's doing that? Super weird. Let's try adding a flower. I think we had a problem with the flower doing this too. The floral, add an item. Let's just add a rose and it's there in place, but now let's see. Okay, but when I clicked on it, when I selected it, it dropped down to the base, dropped down to the bottom. Hello, hello, welcome in, Kimmy Kish. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Welcome.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right. So, when we clicked on it, it dropped to the base. And that's the bug that we want to fix. Why is that happening? Now, the other times, it seemed like it happened not just when we clicked on the item, but when we clicked on anything, like even a menu item, it did that. Let's do another test and see if we can find out. Let's see, if we select vessels, let's select this white box again. And then floral, let's add another new rose and click on props. Boom, it dropped it down inside again. So it's basically clicking on anything, grabs the item that is selected and drops it down for some weird reason. Like, see, it's not even here. Let's go underneath our table. Let's see if we can do that. Can we go? Let's go down to the floor. Surfaces, floor. See, we got like all kinds of stuff on the floor just hanging out. It makes no sense. I don't know what this thing is doing. And if we pop under the table here, I don't even see our rows. I don't know where it sent our rows. Somewhere. It could be actually, I think, I know where it is. I think here in the middle of this white box, there's probably 2 roses in the exact same spot. And so you can't tell. If we hit floral and we select, and we try moving, it's not even letting us pick the flower. Why is that? Okay. Try, yep. Like I thought, 2 different flowers put in the same spot. So put it right in the center. So it didn't drop the flowers to the floor, it dropped the flowers to the bottom of the vase, right in the center. Similar problem. It's probably the exact same problem, but we got to figure out why this is happening here. So we'll take a quick look. What you working on tonight, Kimmy? Anything interesting? Getting ready for tomorrow's day. When does the season end? What when is summer break? It's got to be coming up soon, right? Am I just all off on my times? I don't know. Let's see. Let's open up some code here. And let me switch this over to... All right, here we go. We'll zoom in a little bit, and this could be interesting. One thing I might want to do, in Exiles Eden, which is another project I've been working on lately, not a lot on my end, just boring house things needing my attention and doing my best to avoid them. I hear that. I hear that. I am guilty of that on frequent occasion. Indeed. What I was saying with this, with Exiles Eden, what I did is I created a mouse manager, and I'm basically setting up all my controls for the mouse in that one location, in that one script. And so based on the mode you're in the game, it does different things, it recognizes different things. And maybe I should employ that same approach here within the Floral Studio. Currently, I have the scroll wheel in the middle of your mouse working from inside the camera manager because it controls your camera zoom. And I have the object manager script, which is looking at your the Alt key on the keyboard and your right click button and your left. It basically does the left and right button, and it checks to see if you're holding the Alt key because it allows vertical movement of your object if you're using the Alt key and the object is a flower. Otherwise, it only lets you use your buttons to move the item or to rotate the item depending on which mouse button you are using. But since those are object controls, I put them in the object manager. I don't know if it's a big deal, but what I'm starting to lead myself to here, let me come in and turn off this overlay so that, boom, this is a little bit more legible. Is I'm curious if somehow when we're clicking the mouse that is actually creating this, I don't know, dislocation of our objects. But I'm looking at like right here. This is our mouse button gets pushed down. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be related to the mouse click, but I could be wrong. Input get mouse button. Okay. Hold duration ++. What this is I built in a little feature to make sure that the button is being held for a certain amount of time instead of just, you know, a couple of frames, because when you click a mouse, it's very easy to click it and it be held for a few frames. It's not instantaneous. And so we don't want the object to start moving around if you don't intend it to. Like if you're just trying to click the mouse, you don't want the item to start moving around. And yet what's happening is it's not moving around, but it is jumping to the floor. And I think it has something to do with this. Man, I hate that I'm always yawning by the time I get to my stream. That's not good. If you know what I mean, I hope you guys can forgive me. All right. Let's see. I also feel like this hold duration might be too long. I was noticing that when I wanted to move things around very intentionally, that I had to kind of hold it down for an extended period of time, a lot longer than I would like to. So I believe I had this at like 30 before. Sorry, let me scroll up. This right here, this hold duration. This is where it allows the movement of the object if you've been holding it for longer than 60 frames. And that's because ideally you're running at 60 frames per second. And so this is a 1 second mouse hold. But if the program is running any slower than that, then it's going to take longer. Like, let's say we're running at half speed, it's only running at 30 frames per second, then this would take 2 full seconds, but it just feels too long. I think at 30, I was occasionally running into a problem. So let's just do something like 35. I don't know. We'll try dropping that down and see if that's a little bit smoother. But that's obviously not going to fix our problem, which is things getting dropped down to the floor or something. It's almost as if it's still somehow in the placement mode or something. So maybe we need to check, because it's only that last item placed, right? It's only like, yeah. So maybe it has to do something with placing the item in the scene isn't concluding properly. I don't know. We can look at our object manager here, and we have these new objects. Bum, bum. We go through this object selected. Let's see. Boom. Object selected. That is down here. Object selected. We're going to run object selected on the actual object script. So that is on, what script is that? Studio object. Studio object. Update parent info. If parent object is equal to the object manager instance game object, then save info, save parent mode equal to 0, and parent number equal to 0. Otherwise, save parent mode number and parent number. Okay. Excuse me. What that is doing is essentially it's saving in our save load system. It's assigning a numerical value to the object that we are attaching it to. So if we place a vase on a table, it's getting that table, it's reading in the table number and what type of item, so what mode that item lives in. So it'll be a surface, and it'll get the item number, and it'll drop those into the save file for the item that you're adding. So if it's a vase, it stores what table it's on, is essentially what this function does, so that when you save and reload your file, it knows which table to put your vase on. That is not our problem, I do not believe. Does not seem to be. The weird thing is, all right, here, what's this? On pointer click. Okay, this is the actual studio object, and then on pointer click. If the selected object is not this object, and the tag, the type of item it is, matches the mode that we're in. So if we're in surface mode and you click on a surface, and the hold duration is less than 60, we need to make that match. We'll put 35. We really need, let's fix this before we get too far. Could be a problem. We need to have, let's put it in our object manager. Let's create a variable for our hold time on the mouse so that we're not hard coding it in multiple. That's just a recipe for disaster later on. So I'm going to create a public so that we can access it from other scripts as well. A public, let's see, what are we doing with this? Hold duration, 35. We're doing a number of frames. So we can do an int. So we'll do public int. Oh, we have a hold duration. Interesting. Oh, but that's how long, that's the actual stored duration. So what we need to do is create one that is a public int. We'll call it default or hold default. Let's do that. Hold default duration. Let's be more specific. All right. And then down here in our start function, we can assign that. We can simply say hold default duration equals 35. That's what we're going to try for now. So now down here, we're going to change this. Instead of 35, we'll change this to hold default duration. Okay, and then over in our studio object script, we're going to say here, if the hold duration is less than object manager dot instance dot hold default duration. We might clean this function up a bit if we keep it, because it's got a lot of reference to the object manager, which makes me believe this should be something that is primarily calculated in the object manager and just returns like a true false boolean or whatever we need here from the object manager, rather than pulling multiple items from it. I think that we can clean this up a little bit. But I'm trying to understand if this is truly what we want. Basically, what we're saying is if we click on something and it's not already selected and it matches the mode that we're in. So if we're in surface mode and we click on a surface and we haven't been holding the mouse to move things, then we're going to select it, which is what we want. And I don't see anything that would cause that little bug that we have happening. My concern, though, is that we've got this on pointer click event in the Studio Object script. But then we've also got in our Object Manager script, we've got this whole, if the mouse button is pushed down, then we're going to execute all this. So what I'm concerned is happening is if we're clicking on an object, we're triggering both events, and that might be where we're getting some issues because we don't want that. Yeah, it's simple. Let's just take a look. So here is the mouse button down, which is going to be essentially the same as what we're doing on that other one. The only difference is on here, when we say get mouse down, we're just looking at the mouse status regardless of where it is in the scene, regardless of whether you're over a button, an object, nothing. The other one is going to only function and trigger if you're over the object that script is attached to. And it's attached to every object that we put in the scene. So every table, every flower, every vase, and so on. So I think this double duty issue is what's hurting us. But what would cause it to move to another position? I don't like the fact, though, that we're triggering two things at once. That can cause a lot of issue. And that's sort of where I was going with my train of thought on creating like a mouse manager to just handle everything that we're doing with the mouse. And then we let the camera manager and the object manager and the studio objects pull from that. However, when it comes to clicking on objects, it is much easier to do it from the script, from that object itself, rather than from a completely separate script, because then you can just say, hey, if you're clicking here on this object, it recognizes the space that it's in the screen. So the key might be figuring out how do we get this part not to trigger if we trigger the studio object, or are we okay with double dipping? I don't know. It seems like it's a bad thing, but how do we get around it? Studio object. I would imagine that this is a relatively common thing. Like, there has to be pretty standardized solutions to this throughout the dev world. So if you've encountered this on a project and you want to chime in, feel free. Let's see. what I've got on screen right now is the on pointer click. I don't even love that.
An officer has arrived in command center.
Welcome in, sir. Welcome aboard. Ludum, good to have you.
Incoming transmission from archived footage.
Water, water, what can you do with water?
Hydrate, everybody.
Water for the dishes, water for your hair.
Public service
water
announcement.
for the fishes, and water for the clothes that you wear. Boom, 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 boom.
Ooh, do you hear an echo? That's not great. Let me... Oh, I'll bet it's this. Let me turn this off. Let's audio properties. Let's do this. Desktop. Let's do monitor only mute output. Let's try that. You don't have an echo, but the clip and the computer voice does. All right, well, hopefully I just fixed that. Not positive, but hopefully I did.
Incoming transmission from archived footage.
Sup? Sup, dude?
Take whatever you want, just please don't hurt me.
All right. Cheers to you, by the way, and I am well. Thank you for asking. How about you, sir? How are you doing? Good to have you in. Glad we fixed that. Thank you for pointing it out. Appreciate it. Cheersies. Indeed. Oh, man. Boom. All right. I wish we would get some bot popping in with their little, like one of those automated scam things with the, you know, sketchy links that they want to post, because I want to test out my new code for letting, you know, the computer is actually reading it as we're under attack. It's pretty cool, by Cylons. I'm good, working on some Doyle work, only to find that the beams on top are actually planks of wood, not big metal beams. Yeah, okay. Okay. I mean, it shouldn't affect your model if it looks the same, right? It would just affect your texture, your material. I don't know. Man, I wish a bot would come in and spam me, said no one ever. Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you, I got to test this out. I want to get it working because it's actually going to be super cool when it happens, because literally when somebody comes in and posts one of those suspected spam things, we're going to go to red alert, and we're going to get an under attack message from the computer, and we're going to see a Cylon pop up on the view screen, and then I'm going to hit ban them, and we're going to blow them out of the sky. It's gonna make for a great moment. Like, you know, how can you not root for that? It's gonna be cool. Let's see. Trying to resolve this issue where I'm not loving how the mouse click is working. No, the way I modeled it was a big, thick metal beams. There's actually two sides for the horizontal beams and the vertical diagonal beams between them, all with rivets. Oh, Dang. Oh, man. And that's not what they are, huh? Dang. I mean, how'd that happen? Did you saw what you wanted to see? Or, like, I don't even remember it. I'm sure that they looked like it. I have no doubt that you modeled it. But I mean, like, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, are you sure they're not taken from different time frames? You looked more into the venue details. Are you sure though? Because okay, let's look at this. Let's take a look at this. On the photos, they looked like metal beams. So where are you getting the idea that they're not? Let me send you a photo. Cool. Like what makes you think they're not? That would be my question. Oh, man. Let's change out this over here and throw the chat up in here since we're conversing. All right. All right, well, this is definitely a concerning thing, so we need to set the ship in yellow, status yellow here. We got to fix this. Why does it not go to status yellow in the... All right, one thing at a time. What project are you working on tonight? Right now I'm in the Floral Studio. As a matter of fact. I know it's been a while for sure. For sure. It's been all Pandemonium and Exiles Eden. Which is good. Those are great projects. But, yeah. Let's see. Where's my streamer bot? Let's take a look at action. We're going into condition yellow. Condition yellow. Okay, I see the problem. So we need to go, we're going into red, action, status, red, and update condition red. So for yellow, we need to add action condition yellow, no, action status yellow, and update condition yellow. Action, run action. This is going to be status. Okay, well, here's the update condition yellow. We can do that one. And where's this other one? Core, actions, run action. Status yellow. There it is. I see it. Okay, so we add that. We move that up there. We hit save. And let's see if we have fixed this. So now if I send this into yellow, boom. Now it updates everything. Now it says condition status yellow. Yay. All right, we fixed that off that list. We can cross that off of our Twitch environment fixes. Condition yellow, fixed. Okay. back bro needs me. Okay, all right. Got it. Boom. All right, let's see. Well, how's everybody doing tonight? Glad to have you in here and along for the ride. Let's see. Catching up on a few messages here. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay. All right, got it. How do let me mark this. Okay, there we go. That's important. All right, Floral Studio. Boom, got you. Okay. So these look like, yeah, I can see these look like wood beams with like a little metal plate attached to it. What did I say? Metal, wood. Let's look at this. See, that looks like metal, though, to me. Those look like metal. I feel like... See, that looks like metal, too. This is confusing. Is it like metal attached to wood, or is it maybe it's metal with a little wood insert? The metal centerpiece where they all meet, but the beams are thin and are wood. But if you look at, that's so weird. I mean, that's a weird place. It just is. That's bizarre. Trying to see where. Oh man, lost my position here. Let's see. Let me share something on screen too, so I can. The one with the couch. You can see on the top right how thin they are. I got way too many things open. I can't even find stuff. What happened to... Did I close Slack? Why can't I find it? I almost accidentally closed it. All right. The one with the couch. I don't see an image of the couch. I must not be seeing... So let me pull this one. Open folder. Open this image. Let me put this up over here. So like this image right here, that to me looks like metal. Maybe it's not though. So weird. I cropped the couch out. It's the one with the beams on the top right area of the image. That's definitely a wood texture. You can see the wood grain. Wow. So is it just like a 2x4? Like, yeah, I mean, it looks like they might just be 2x4s. It's weird. It's such an unusual setup to begin with. But like this, looking at this image that's on the screen right here, right now. So if I scroll this over a little bit, okay. So like this part right here running along this edge definitely looks like metal to me. This beam here. I can see this here maybe is a 2x4, but this definitely looks like metal. So it's like they intermixed it, which is, you know, maybe the frame parts are metal. Yeah, like it's just so random. Here's what I'm wondering. Let me see the, where's the other image? See, I have another thought here. And this is going to make it even more complicated. Not that, you know, and maybe we don't have to worry too much about all this kind of detail. It would be nice to have it as accurate as possible. But here's what I'm wondering. Looking at this, I'm almost wondering if these are metal pieces with a 2x4 inserted. This looks like a pipe in front of it, actually. But like, oh no, it's not a metal frame. This is wiring running across the top of it. It's like, you can see this is like a 2x4, and then there's like cords, electrical cord running along the top of it that makes it sort of look like it's framed out. I think that's what we're seeing there. Sorry, this is not really there in scene. I think that's what we're seeing. We're looking at here is like right above here, this white, I think, is a cord. Not a Honda. You just mean this right here, right? Like a... Or do you think the whole thing... Or do you think the whole thing is metal frame with like a 2x4 inserted? It doesn't, from this angle, it doesn't look like it. But... maybe you can only see the wood from one direction. And if you're looking at the other photo, like this, is this the other side of it where it almost looks like it's just metal? I don't know. There's some weird looking stuff going on there. Right? It's all pretty thin. You got to imagine these are 2x4s, so you'd have to imagine it's probably only 2 inches. Unless this is framed out inside of metal, then it might be like 2.5 inches or 3 inches or something, but otherwise it's probably a 2x4. As you see in the middle model I made, it was a thick metal beams. I have to go back and look. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I do see that. I mean, I wouldn't have noticed. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that image that you just shared is really... Gotcha. It's crazy. Let me download that. I'll share this with folks in case anyone else is watching intently. Boom. Let's see. Let's see. I can't even keep up with all this. Where are we at? Vertical pieces are 2x4s. I mean, they look like it to me. They look like 2x4s, but I don't know. At least you know, I was about to text her and was like, wait, is that wood? Right? Dang. Ugh. That sucks. I mean, there's part of me that's like, who cares? But there's the other part of me that's like, no, it's gotta be right. I mean, we definitely want to represent right. I don't know. But this all looks like metal to me. This framework in here. But like, what is this in this image? Is it like, is it this backside? Because that's what I'm thinking, like, is if this up here is metal, like this big curved piece, and then if this backside, if this is, it might be a metal frame with a 2x4 on like the side of it. I don't know. See at the top how it goes in between on one side. Which picture? Which image? Previous one. So this here. At the top, see how at the top it goes in between? Yes, I do. And this is why I'm thinking this is metal. I feel like all these where you're seeing hold on. Let me see something. Let me try zooming up, zooming over. Man. Ah. Are those just metal with wood between? I should just go to the venue myself. Man, I mean, we were really trying to avoid that with this one, but it's so difficult to tell exactly what's going on. Problem is, if you just show up, I don't know if they're gonna be like, you know, cordial with you. How did I get this picture? What? Okay. I don't know how that's gonna work, like if they'd be receptive to you, just, you know. It is so weird. That is such a bizarre structure. Like, I honestly cannot tell what's wood and what's metal. It's so difficult to understand what we're looking at here. Because if you ask me, which you kind of did and kind of didn't, I think this curved part is metal. And yes, I think it's a mixture, because I think if this curved part is metal, then what I think is happening is like these diagonal pieces here that cut through. So like here and here, I think those are metal too. But like this one running, where am I at here? This is hard to fit on screen. Okay, but here, this one running across looks like a 2x4. And then here, this one running vertically, or I mean horizontally right here, you can see this definitely looks like it's wood on this side of a metal plate. So it's like some sort of crazy meshed up combination. I don't know that that's a knot on the, I think it might be misleading. Maybe I'm wrong though. Like, I think you're saying that this right here is a knot, and it could be, or it could just be a indentation or a dark spot on a piece of metal. I don't know. It's pretty difficult to tell. It really is. But if you look at this up top, so like this right here, do you see this juncture where this diagonal piece comes up and this piece also goes into it? This is the curved part along the ceiling right here, okay? And here where these junctions meet, these look more like rivets than they do like nails or anything. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying if this is metal with rivets, then this diagonal piece is metal. But you're saying you think that's a knot, that it's wood, which is possible, but I don't know that it is. I think these diagonal pieces might be metal. Not sure. Let me see, where's that other one again? Let me re-download and open this one again. Boom. Okay, so here, see, this is the curved part against the ceiling, which, like you pointed out, is almost like two different sides. But I think this is the metal. And so then the question is, this diagonal piece here, is this metal or wood? And it's really difficult to tell. And what does that mean for this piece? Because this looks like also metal. It looks like it joins. If you go follow it here. Okay. If you follow this piece to where it meets the curved part here, this is the curved part on the ceiling, and then this is across the room. Where they meet here, this looks like a smooth junction, and so this appears to be metal also. I would imagine this whole thing is the same material. But now when you flip this, okay. This picture might be from a different place too. I don't know. But what this leads me to wonder is the piece that's going across here, pieces, these horizontal beams, okay? So like here running at the very top, and then the one that's across the very bottom of the view screen. So these two that run across, I almost wonder if they're metal on one side with wood inserts on the other side. I don't know. Craziness. What a mess. That is some, right? That is some just like, why can't it just be a normal, like, flat ceiling? Yeah. I don't know. My only thought here would be, since you can't tell conclusively in the photo exactly how it's structured, as long as you come close, it's probably going to be fine. The problem is, like what you said, I don't know how close you are right now with this, unfortunately. It's not really right. Dang. But I don't know. Anyhow. But yeah, you can see like these, I think these are the other direction too. Even if they are 2x4s, I think they're like, you've got them this way, and I think they go this way based on the photos, but I'm sure you can see all that now. What a mess. That's some crazy stuff. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it, let me, this is what I'm thinking. It's crazy. But yeah. Okay. Like this. I'm going to show you. This might blow your mind. Unless you're already on this
Incoming transmission
spot.
from archived footage.
Boom, 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 boom. Water, water, what can you do with water? You need water for the dishes, water for your hair, water for the fishes, and water for the clothes that you wear. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom. Thank you, thank you. Cheers. Oh, I like splashed water. Cheers. Oh, he left. Okay. I gotta show him. All right. Boom. All right, interesting. Fascinating, I guess. All right, let's see if I can. Let's try doing this. Let me change the display. And we'll go to this. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Bum-bum. Let's see. Cool. Let me know when you're back, sir, and I'll throw my 2 cents in on this monstrosity. Boom. Couple different possibilities there. Very interesting, but not particularly funny. All right. I wouldn't call it art. Most definitely would not call it art. But sure. Okay. Here's kind of what I'm thinking. But the more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm just so unsure. All right, I don't have my cable for my close-up camera, so I've actually got to try to use this thing. Okay, so here is the basic structure of that thing, which should look familiar to you. And what I'm thinking is that this is all metal. Again, I could be wrong, but this is my theory, is that that top curved part is definitely metal, I think. I think it absolutely is definitely metal. But what it looks like is happening is at these juncture points, that's where you can see the rivets, where they meet. So like here, for example, at the top, you see that the vertical beam and the diagonal beam meeting in the arch. And this is where you see the rivets on the side. And then at the bottom of this thing, in the horizontal part, there is the metal plate. But here's what there's two different theories that I guess I have. One is, if you're right and the rest of this is comprised of wood, then they just took a metal plate and put over this bottom part and put rivets through where this metal part is. But the other possible thing that I'm thinking theoretically is happening here, again, I don't know, is this entire thing is made out of metal, and then this horizontal beam across is like an I-beam. Or a I don't know. Maybe it's not an I-beam. But what I'm suggesting is, let me put this back. Let me see if I can do it from upside down here. This is going to be interesting. Okay, this might be a little more challenging than I thought.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Okay, so here you've got this metal plate with the rivets, right? What I'm wondering, sorry, hopefully you can hear me. What I'm wondering is if this whole thing is metal and then they took a piece of wood and stuck it inside here like this, and the same on this side. And so it's sort of like a metal frame with a wood 2x4 insert. Possibly. I don't know. All right. I don't know if that all made sense. I feel like there's only one of two things happening here. Either it's like I just suggested, it's either a metal frame with 2x4s inserted into it, or this is wood with the metal plate attached over the center of it, where the junctions are coming in. But I definitely think part that does lend itself to possibly being wood is that I think this top arch part is absolutely metal, and it's two pieces. Like you said, it's like hollow between. And so then the wood slats go up in between the two metal pieces. You think it's wood with the metal in the center for stability, which is probably how I'll model it as. I think that's fine. But you can see the different wood planks on the arch. You can see the straight pieces of wood. Yeah, it's... Yeah. It sounds great, man. Can't wait to see how it comes out. Good luck. Oh my gosh. Right? Like, why not just have a normal ceiling? Come on. I mean, I get that they have to have some flexibility to add different lighting and stuff, but this whole thing just feels so, like, I don't know, rigged and, like, not very classy. I'm trying to find nice ways of saying it. The ceiling is like a tarp. It's like just this, hodgepodge of a, oh yeah, the actual, right? Yeah, that's true. I don't know. The whole thing is quite mind-boggling. It's quite the interesting venue. All right. Cool. Well, this, sir, nice work. It's a shame you can't really use it. I also think do you have the right amount of slats? I think your slats might be wrong too. I could be wrong, but it feels like too many. Middle, then this one goes out, then this one. Maybe you're right. I don't know. You've got more pictures than I do. You could be right. That might be it. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look horrible. It's just like you said. It looks really good. It's just like you said that once you're, I'm trying to spiral around it like as if I'm actually in Blender. That's funny. But it's like you said. It's like when you go to texture, you're like, wait, something's not right here. All right, fun. All right, well, can I downgrade us out of yellow alert now? Do we have that dealt with? Yeah, I don't know how much help I was. I probably just created more questions than answers. Oh, man. All right. Boom. All right, all right, all right. Groovy. Let's see. Well, have fun with that. I hope it comes out well. I mean, I know it will. I know it's going to come out great. I just hope it doesn't give you too much more trouble. Let's put it that way. That's my hope. Is that it's not too much more troublesome for you, because that's already no fun. Yeah. All right. Yeah, me too. Me too. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. It's all good. All right. Now I got all these sketches of my half wagon wheel thing. Oh. Oh. All right. Let's zoom back in on this here, what we got going on. I am just not sure if this on pointer click is the best way to deal with our selecting the object. Let's check this function right here too, this manual selection, and make sure nothing seems weird. Manual selection, that's going to be on the object manager script. So if we go to object manager, my goodness. Okay, where's manual selection? Let's find it over here. Manual selection right here. Okay, here's this manual selection. If the selected object is not null, then it's going to deselect the current object, and then it's going to switch selected object to the item that we're passing in, and then moving position equals selected object transform position. Okay. Feels like it should be okay, but it also sounds like a potential problem. I'm trying to think through this as we grab it. Essentially, we're assigning the variable moving position, which I'm assuming is a vector 3. So it's location in kind of world space. And maybe that's the key right there. Maybe we're dealing with an issue of world space versus local. World position versus local position. That could be causing us a problem here. If when we select an item, we're grabbing the position, let's see. Moving position, selected object, transform position. I feel like that could potentially be our problem. I also feel like, though, why did we not have this problem before? Why is it a new issue? Moving position. We do the same thing here with rotated selected object. Moving position equals selected object transform position. All right, and then here, let's look up top. This is where we're actually clicking our mouse. Boom. What do we got? Let's see. Okay, here's moving position. Oh, hey, there we go. We got a good, okay, now. What is it? What is it? What is it? You're freaking out. All right. Intruder. Yeah, we didn't get any kind of alert. But that's what I needed to get. Is I needed to figure out how this comes up so that I know how I can trigger it. I feel like it always has this part of the message. I think that's the only thing that's consistent. I'm going to grab this one, copy, and then let's put, well, like I said, we needed to test this because I needed to see how it shows up. I'm going to do this. Let's go, okay, over here we have bot attacking. And in this command, we're going to set this bot detected trigger. I am going to set these keywords. Okay. We'll say okay. I or a mod still have to ban, although I suppose I might be able to code it to auto do it. All right. So now let's try this. I'm going to attempt. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to remove that. Darn. Okay. Okay, we'll check that. Now let's test this. Let's see.
Enemy bot on attack approach.
All right, it did the first part. It didn't do a second because, all right, we got to go here. Boom, there we go. And we just change this to this one. Say okay. And hopefully that'll work now. I don't know. All right, I've adjusted the code. That's what I needed, was somebody to step in so I could test or reset the code. So now the code is reset. So now we'll have to see if it works. But unfortunately, we need to have that situation again in order to truly test it. All right. I think it's going to be pretty cool, though. All right. Let's go back to green. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, it would be nice to get this figured out. There's two possible issues that I see. One is the doubling up, where we have the item and then we have this input mouse button. Possibly. The other potential issue is the this location, setting the moving position, because it could possibly be doing a local versus a world position that we're not thrilled about. Let's see. I feel like, though, there might be a way for us to clean up this double up issue. For example, I think the first thing I need to check on this Studio Object script, right here we have our on pointer click. I need to confirm, sure thing. I need to confirm on this. Let's bring this over here. And let's set us back here. Okay. I want to check the Unity on pointer click and confirm when that triggers. On pointer click. This is register. Okay. On pointer click. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think I have that. If a click occurs. This isn't very specific. Like, it doesn't clarify whether it happens on the mouse down, on the mouse up. That's what I'm looking for. But I feel like there's a better, I don't like this on pointer click. Not for this function. I think it's the wrong usage. That's what I am thinking. Generally speaking, you should try avoiding using raw input in your code. Use event callbacks. Yeah. I think the arches are metal with wood planks on both sides. Wood planks on both sides of the arches? This design is whack. I agree. I don't think there's wood on the sides of the arches. Like, I don't know. Do you mean inside the arches? Like, check out the latest picture. Okay. Looking. Oh no, you're fine. The latest picture you posted. Okay, cool. Let's see. Look at those straight pieces on the arches. Straight pieces on the arches? Oh. I think maybe I see what you're talking about. Let me share this so that anyone else can follow along if they want to with our confuzzlement. All right. Let's put this up here. Okay. If I understand what you're saying, I believe you're saying that, like, along the edge of this metal arch, there's wood planks going through it. I don't know. I don't know. It is so hard to tell what's going on here. This thing is such a mess. I mean, I see what you're talking about. It's almost like... You know what? It's almost like they alternate sides, or do they go... What the heck? Because, like, this juncture... let me see. This juncture here is like... This definitely looks like pieces of wood, and this is going up on the inside of this. But if you look here further to either side, these pieces of wood go on the other side. Like, there's no consistency whatsoever. Like here, you can see this is going behind it. Like, they're not even on the same side. Like, what the crap? It's the most, right? I don't know, man. I mean, what the heck? That is crazy. I mean, just do your best. Use your imagination. Take what you have. Come up with something that looks right, and it'll be good enough. I mean, you're just going to stress yourself out by trying to get this exact. You added some lines to the latest posted pictures. Okay. Yeah, no, I got what you were saying. Yeah, I can, in this picture, this view that you shared, I see them. It's almost like these are wood pieces over the, like here, these look like wood pieces. That is crazy. The whole thing is just some sort of, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like the guy who got a D in wood shop all through high school decided to start his own business. And that's so mean to me. Oh gosh. All right. Well, like, thank you. Like, I just think, do the best you can. Come up with whatever looks right to you, and I'm sure it'll be good enough. But good luck. What a mess. I mean, with those air ducts going through them, and the pipes going through them, and the fluorescent lighting, and the cage hanging down, and the string lights up through it. I mean, it is just, that is one nightmare of a setup. Like, wow. Wow. Should I do the lights in the cage? Probably. I think the cage is a light. I think the cage is a light. If I'm not mistaken, I think you can see it in some of the other photos. Like, yeah, if you look at, like, you can see there's like a chandelier inside of it. If you look at your other photos that you posted. I don't know. Boom. And then what's going to be fun for me, the other fun part of this project, you're looking at all these ridiculous things, is you look at all these lights. So you've got these string lights that are hanging here, right? And then you got the chandelier inside the cage. And then I see, like, I'm looking up here, I see like a little floodlight thing. And then you got these big fluorescent lights up here. And then you got these little fluorescent light, so like the big fluorescent boxes that are on up at the top. Then you've got these other little fluorescent boxes right here that are attached to the underside, a hole in the ceiling or a light. Oh, that's a good question. You think it's a opening to the outside, like a skylight? I mean, that is another good question. Maybe that's a skylight. But I see fluorescent light boxes here strapped to the underside of these beams. And so my point is, figuring out this ceiling thing is going to be important, whether it's skylight or a fixture. But it might be a skylight. But yeah, I'm going to have to create all those different lighting effects for that model. Jeez Louise. Like, that's going to suck. But whatever. If we can do this one and make this one look good, we can do it with any of them. You know what I mean? Right? Oy vey, what a nightmare. This is one crazy venue. You might be right, though. That might be a skylight. Shoot. Is there any other photos that would show that better? Light. It's tough to know for sure. It could very well be a skylight. So does that mean if somebody like has an event in the afternoon that you're going to automatically get sunlight in this room in addition to your lighting? That seems whack. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll ask her. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, there's at least two. I would imagine based on the size of the room, there's a good chance there's more. What? It's a skylight? She said she didn't remember, but I think she's looking at the photo right now, and to her it's a skylight. That is the wackiest, like, configuration, it's just makes no sense. Makes no sense. Super, super weird. What fun. Okay, so in the model, should there be geometry there that is textured white or just a hole? Man, good question. A hole, and then I'll have to create a setting for like daytime, nighttime, overcast. Something like that, so you can have different lighting. Oy, 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 oy. I don't know. I would say the whole makes more sense for realistic effect, but it's not like I'm going to be super disappointed if you give me something different. That whole thing is so convoluted, you've just got to do the best you can to be able to get it so it looks right. And by right, I mean, you know, close enough. Oh, I know. What do you got? What do you got? Oh, man. What a mess. The suspense is killing me. Are you typing? I don't know. Oh, let's see. What do we got? Let's see. I can take the geo that would fit there, and we could have it be a separate piece. I could texture it white. If you want to use it, throw an emissive on it so there's a glow to imitate daytime, or just omit the geo altogether. I don't want to have a glow like an emission, because that would not mimic daylight in the room. That would make it just glow. It would look like a neon light or something. I want it to actually have a lighting effect on the room. So I think you can just remove it. Because it's not like we really have to account for every setting or anything. I can just simply have a little switch where you do like direct sunlight, indirect light, and dark kind of a thing. Maybe a dusk setting, I don't know. But I can just have over in the side. For the room, I'll have some room controls. For example, we're going to want to be able to set the color of the curtain. We're going to want to be able to want to set the lighting mode. For example, we'll probably have to have a list of lighting options. In addition to just day, night, we're going to have like, you know, which lights are on and which lights are off, basically. So some different lighting configurations, because I imagine that's the way it works there. And then, yeah. Feel like there's something else I'm missing, but it seems about right to me. Oh. Thanks, sir. Sorry it turned out to be such a beast. I know it is. I have faith. You do good work, so it is going to be fantastic. I started diving into the world of shaders today, so I've got a lot that I'm ready to start learning, but I know it's going to help me with a lot of things. I've already seen use cases for doing some shader graphs on multiple projects, the Floral Studio, Exiles Eden, yeah, a couple others. Just how Exiles is turning out a lot. We're in the same boat. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Awesome. Maybe one day you can teach me shader stuff, because I need to learn that stuff too. I mean, I'm in no position to teach it. I'm like the brand new student. But Unity did a stream. They did a live stream this morning, and they had a guest on who is actually the guy who he works for Unity, and he does a lot of the design development work on shaders, and he does like all the shader samples for Unity. So like all their included samples and sample assets and sample projects and stuff like that for shaders. He does all of that. And it turns out he's also got a YouTube channel, and he talks about shaders for Unreal and for Unity. He dives into them real deep, and has, you know, a huge following on YouTube. So it's pretty cool, because even though he works for Unity, he does like tutorial stuff online for both engines. So really knowledgeable guy, and the stuff he was showing off on the stream that you can do, it was really impressive. It was really nice work, and it all comes included in Unity. You don't even know it's there. It's like tucked away, and yeah, it's like a best kept secret kind of thing. It's like pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'm amazed at how much you can do with just shaders, you know? Like he was creating an entire like forest environment with a stream and all this kind of thing, all in shaders. Like he wasn't importing assets and piling all this stuff on. It was all just, you know, built on shaders. He just had like planes and a cube and the whole rest of the scene was shaders, and it was this like totally realistic looking, you know, brook in the middle of a forest, and you know, yeah, amazing stuff. So gave me inspiration, and I started digging into it a little bit today. So I mention it because like with Exile, I'm going to I know that there's a few cases that I have that I want to implement them there, so I just want to start dabbling and get a good feel for at least some of the basics, so that I can start using it to control things like the day-night cycle stuff, the fog of war stuff, the highlighting of units, all that kind of stuff I can do through shaders. And so, yeah. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, where am I at? Yeah, I'll work at it. It'll be cool. Okay, definitely need to add it to my arsenal for sure. I've been putting it off for a while because I'm kind of intimidated by it all, but the time has come. I need to get that in my tool belt, get those learned for sure. All right. Oh.
Vessel has been boarded by additional life forces. Adjusting oxygen levels now.
Well, thank you for the warning. It looks like we have been raided. Welcome in, Dev Guy 777. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nice integration. I appreciate that. Yeah. Working on it. How you doing? How was your stream? Let's see. I think computer, I don't think we have an imminent threat. I think we can downgrade. Let's pull back to like condition blue. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we got for anybody popping in. My name's Vale. This environment is actually a little bit more involved than you see at the moment. For example, we can actually move around this whole room. We've got a whole ship here, so we can pull back different locations within our ship area. We've got our communications panel here. Over to this side of the room, we've got a nice little video panel that we can run video clips and stuff. And of course, our center screen is kind of the most active. We can do a lot of cool stuff up here. We can go close up to our view screen, so a lot of that. Unity physics, fun. We got a lot of stuff that we're dealing with, physics stuff on our Friday night project. Game Jelly project tomorrow night. Yeah. What kind of project are you working on? Is it a game? Made a similar integration with in-world screen capture of my windows. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, the screens are the trickiest thing. I've redone them multiple times. The curved view screen effect here that I got going. I did a whole lot of crazy stuff. Is your CPU or GPU capture? So this was originally, it used to be actual video clips that I was playing MP3/4s for each movement under each different color condition, but it was way too hard to control. So this is actually a game environment that is running live on my desktop. It's a Unity built environment, and then I just did a Windows build that I'm running live for the environment. The actual screen views are all just OBS. So it's layered extensively. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, I built it from scratch and still try to work on it. periodically here and there on a stream, or before I go live, I'll try to add another. I've got a long list of things I'm trying to add and incorporate, so I still work on it quite a bit. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. How do you import OBS into your Unity textures? I don't know how to do that yet. I do the other way around. I have the game running live, and I put that as a source in OBS. So the environment, the ship environment, is a source in OBS, and then each screen and so forth is a different source within OBS. So currently my view screens are not textures in Unity. I can show you even what the Unity, let's see, which one is it? Control room environment. No, the screen doesn't follow, unfortunately. Yeah, I would need, like you said, to import and create textures in the Unity environment in order to do that. And I have not gotten to that point. If it's feasible, I'm not positive. So at this stage of the game, it's just in OBS. So if I switch scenes, you'll notice the screen will actually shut off. So, it's not quite as cool, but I am working on some transitions to make it a little bit better, but that's sort of the idea. Let's see. What do we got? Let me go back to here. CPU window capture with extensive help from ChatGPT to map my window to a Unity texture in my 3D world. That's cool. Yeah, I've thought about doing something like that. To be honest, I feel like I've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak. I've got a lot of stuff I still want to really integrate into this, but it would be cool to do that and have it as an actual texture there in that view screen area. And then that way, as I'm doing movement, it'll look a lot cleaner than having to kind of turn it on and off. So that's cool. That's cool. Gotcha. Yeah, especially when you're streaming, and I'm also double streaming. I'm now streaming both to Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. And so, you start stacking up and putting a lot of demand on everything. And then you start creating more and more lag on your stream, which is also not cool. When I'm trying to run this environment and then stack all these different items and layers, and then also work on like a Unity project and have that open as well, it can start to be a little bit taxing on the stream at times. But that's very cool. Very cool. So what game or project are you working on right now that you're working with Unity Physics? If you'd like a copy of the CPU capture, let me know. It works okay, but in VR, it's a bit slow on 4K though. I mean, I'll take a look at it, I don't know at this stage without kind of looking at it and testing it. I don't know whether it would be something I would utilize or not, but I mean, take a look at it. Working on a VR Car Wars game prototype. Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool indeed. I feel like I was on my way to do something, share something, and I don't remember what I was doing. That sounds about right. I feel like it had to do with when I was talking about the dual streams, or oh, I remember. I was going to show the environment, control room environment. That's what I was doing. Let me see if I have that easy. That sounds like me 20 times in a stream. Yeah, me too. Let's see. Oh, yeah, control room environment. Here it is. All right, I'm going to switch this really quick. I'll put this on screen, and you'll see this is what is actually running right now on my computer. Except for this has it keyed out. I could show you even more if I hide the chroma key. Then you can see it. That's what's actually running. All right, that's enough of that. Boom. Let's do that. And let's go back here. All right, I'm back. But like I said, I got a whole lot of things I'm still trying to add and tweak on here. But we've got some cool stuff. Appreciate the compliments. It's it's fun. Fun little project. Let me see here, Dev Guy. Let me throw you a follow. Go check out your stream one of these days and your project. Boom. All right. Oh. Certainly. All right. Oh, let's see. Oh.
Proximity warning. Humanoid life form identified and has set a course to match our own.
All right. Thank you for the warning on that one, computer. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, Dev Guy. Definitely appreciate that. All right. Oh. I believe. Well, it's Unity, so okay. That's funny. All right. I am trying to clean up some mouse interaction on my program. I'm having kind of a tough decision to make. I'm trying to figure out how best to approach this issue that I'm having. I've got two potential problems with this bug that I've got, where when I click on an object in my scene, it is moving the location of that object to the wrong spot. It shouldn't move it at all, but it's moving it, and there's one of two things that's happening. One is either I am dealing with a local position instead of a world position, which is one possibility. But the thing I'm more concerned about is the fact that the way I have this code right now that I'm looking at it, I essentially am picking up two different actions on a single mouse click. Because if you click on an object, I'm triggering this on pointer click event in the object script. And then my object manager script is running a different action anytime I do a mouse down action. And so I feel like those things are interfering with each other, and I want to clean it up a little bit. But I do like the idea of having the click on the object. It just simplifies so many things. So what I was considering maybe doing is having like a check in the object manager, like basically trigger here, and if it's already running this, to ignore the click in the object manager. Do you have the ability to consume the event? I will be honest, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Let's see. Boom. By the way, welcome in anybody else who came either with the raid or has stumbled in. Appreciate you stopping by.
How are you doing? No. How you doing? What? How you doing?
Right? Yeah, it sounds like basically you're talking about the same thing I was thinking about doing. That's kind of the direction I'm headed in. I don't have anything at the moment, but that's essentially what I think I'm looking to accomplish. I think we're talking the same thing, it sounds like, and I'm not positive. Let's see. For anybody who is new, I can show you what I'm working on, the actual project. Real quick, if anyone's interested, I'll just minimize this. Let me switch to a full screen here. So this is, I have so many projects I'm working on. So honestly, every night of my stream, I could be working on a completely different project. So this is one of many. Tomorrow night we'll be on a different project. Saturday we're doing a launch party for my official launch of a Mobile Match 3 game. So if anybody is interested in joining us for that, we would love to have you here. We're going to do a quick 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday, a quick launch party for my first official launched game. So excited about that. And then this one is I'll just hit play. This one is a 3D studio. It's a floral studio project. And so what we're doing is we're creating a 3D environment in which a floral designer can come in and create a space and build arrangements and create 3D walkthroughs and renders to show clients what it is they can do with their space. So for example, if we go into our room, we can add an object, we can pick floors or walls. So we could grab like, let's say we put this outside, outdoor sky, and then we'll add like a brick floor. You know, we can add walls if we want them. Since we're outside, let's, I don't know, shorten them. We'll make this room more like a, I don't know, a little bit bigger, at least 40 by 40 with just like 4-foot walls. How's that? Okay, so we'll do something like that. We can go in here to our surfaces mode and add like a table. Since we're outside, maybe we want something a little more casual, or we can get something like that's covered, like this low table here. We can use the mouse to maneuver in our 3D environment to zoom in and out, to click and select on items, that kind of thing. We can grab, let's see, we want to click on the table, grab our vessels, and let's add a vase, and then we can go over to our floral. Oops, why did it do that? I don't know. See that there? That's the bug that I'm trying to fix. When I clicked, it moved the vase down to the floor for some reason. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's go add another vase. Let's select our table and add a vase. We'll add this one, and then we'll add some flowers. Oh, again, drops it to the floor. Awesome. You know what I noticed it didn't do it is when we add multiple. Let's go surfaces, select our table. Let's go to our vase, and we'll add, let's add like 3 of them at the same time. And we'll grab this. All right. Nope, still dropping it down below. Wow. But there's one up top. This is such a weird little bug. It didn't used to do that. I'm pretty sure that mouse, adding that something to the mouse created that bug. Let's see, I'm moving the whole table here. So you can move the whole table around, and it moves the vases that's on it. Whatever's on it, it'll move with it. Or if I select the vase itself and move, then it's only going to move the vases. And there's another bug that I have on my list to fix is it's dropping them, overlapping each other. I have a whole system where it calculates the space of the table and distributes them, but apparently I've got a bug in there as well. We go to our floral, and we can add some items like a rose in here. Let's add, I don't know, several. And again, it drops them. Wow. Yeah, that's a new bug, and it's bugging me. Pardon the pun. Boom. All right. Let's see. So we got these flowers. We can position. We can rotate them. We can turn them, rotate them this way. We can, let's see, boom. If we select the vessel, you get the true color of the flower. We're getting a highlight whenever you select stuff, so the bug is bugging me. So anyway, yeah, it's still got a lot of work to go on the project, but this is sort of the basic, concept of it. These different modes. So you go into floral mode, you can add a different flower to the project.
Proximity warning. Humanoid life form identified and has set a course to match our own.
All right. Thank you for the follow. Still needs work. Thank you. That's the story of my projects for sure. Let's see. So here we can move this one around. Boom, boom. Oh, it's moving a little fast. I thought I fixed that already. Oh, welcome in. Glad to have you. Appreciate the following. Yep, we get those nice warnings. We're being followed. But I think again, computer, we are safe here. We can downgrade to, let's go to status blue again. Thank you. All right. So, okay, this is like the worst arrangement ever because it doesn't even look like an arrangement. I'm just sort of like throwing a couple flowers in a bowl. but for, you know, concept of what this program is, you can kind of see where we're headed. You'll be able to eventually add multiple cameras in the scene to be able to render out a video to give to like a client to really show the space. You can add lighting, all kinds of stuff, but trying to work out some of these fundamental bugs first before I start adding some of the more advanced features to the program. And Ludum here is actually working on designing a room, modeled room, rather than piecing together with like the floor and the walls and so forth, a to-scale modeled room of an actual existing event venue that we are going to be able to use for some sample work and so forth. And one of the cool things about this project is that everything in the scene, all these items, tables, vases, flowers, you name it, these are all to scale. So everything is measured and made to scale on real life items. So I notice we're in break, and so these guys probably can't hear me, unless they happen to have turbo. Bummer. But all right. All right. But okay. Yeah, that's kind of that. I don't know if there's anything else I should specifically show off on this or not. It gives a, you know, fair walkthrough. Go to project mode. What if I open a saved project? I don't know if it's going to crash or if it's going to work. Show all. Oh, I don't have any saved projects because I had to delete them when I made changes. Otherwise, they were going to crash it. All right. So that's that. Close catalog. All right. Go to the room. All right, looks like we're back. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for sticking around. If you did, in fact, I don't know. I was just simply saying that basically, you know, I can show off more details, but that's pretty much the concept of the program. I think you get kind of an idea and a concept. Did you hear the part about the everything to real scale off of real life items before we went to break, or that maybe that got cut off? But that's one of the key factors of this is everything is imported to scale, modeled to scale on real life vases and tables and stuff like that. So it's going to be a very practical, useful tool. Yeah, that one's a little tougher to explain. But my girlfriend is a high-end floral designer who does work for big names, big, you know, hotels and stuff like that. And so it's to provide an extra tool and an extra service for what she does. So it is not like a specific contract that I have or a project that I've been hired out to, but something that will elevate what she's offering to her clients. So, yeah. I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it's nice. enjoy the project. It's been fun. Like I said, it's one of many. All right, this is a little weird. I don't know why I'm flying around that. Yep. Ludum here is my 3D modeler artist. He is the one who has done all this beautiful work. These faces. I mean, all the models in here he's done. So these flowers in particular, I think really showcase his work. If I could, here, let's do it this way. Floral, yeah. I don't know, you can see one at least there. I don't know why I got this one hiding down here. What's going on with that guy? Let's bring him up. We've only got, I don't know, what have we got? Like half a dozen, 6, 7 different flowers in here so far. You know, it takes time. So, and like I said, this is one of many projects. So unfortunately, it's not going as, you know, super rapidly, but it's cool. Every time we add something, it really brings something nice to the table. Boom. Ha! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Kind of hard to get flowers to scale too. Oh, for sure. It's hard. Everything you do to work on these flowers is impressive and difficult. I think these are super sick. And the way we were able to get down the poly count in order to work on performance was super awesome. All right, Dev Guy, nice to meet you. I hope you can make it in again. Love to see you around and get to know you a little bit better. And yeah, come check out your channel at some point as well. Appreciate the compliments and the comments and feedback. And yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out for you. All right. All right, let's see. Boom. Let's see, what else? This is the matte fabric. Was this a test one or was this a final one, Ludum? I feel like it still might be a little rough, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the color. Might just be the color. It'd be fine. If I go back to, let me add a new table. Surfaces, let's click our floor. Let's add in, because this shiny one, it's this matte one. I'm not, it's good. We'll have to talk with Camille and make sure it's gonna work. This one looks really good, I think. The texture-wise is all I'm really mostly talking about. I still need to add, I thought I added the color picker, but apparently not. I need to add the color picker feature so that we can change this to whatever color is needed or wanted to match the vibe of the event, you know. Boom, boom. Yeah, I don't know. Is still needs work still in here? Still needs work? Still here? Are you also a developer? That is a great question. Let's see. Oh, we have object manager, round table right here. Where's my colors? Oh, we have it on the material. I have to think through exactly how I want to do that color picker option. We'll just save an instance of the material on the object. That way, as you adjust the color, you're changing it on the instance instead of messing with the original material, and then that will. Your reaction tells me it's a test. It might not be. Don't don't read too much into that, man. That's hilarious, though. That's good. Oh shoot, that's good stuff. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I'll create an instance of the material on the object, and then that way the user can control the color of the instance. And so that we're never changing the actual material, because that way you could even have multiple objects of multiple of the same object in the scene and have different colors. I can't imagine anyone doing that or wanting that, but you never know. Who knows? So, all right, cool. Whoa, that's another little interesting bug there. When you go to rotate sometimes, I think you've noticed this on the flowers too. Sometimes when you go to rotate, this might be the same bug actually. This might be exactly the same issue that we're having with the items dropping to the floor. Is essentially when you first click on it, that very first mouse down, it's jumping to an incorrect position. In this case, a rotation with the right mouse button. And in the case of jumping to the floor, it's the left mouse button. And so I think it's the same bug, which is occurring when we do the mouse down. That's what I think is happening here. So if we pop back over here into Unity, into our code. I'm going to zoom up on that so it's easier to read. I don't think it's this. I think it's over here in the object manager. Right here we're doing a get mouse down. This is the left button, and then there should be also a get mouse down right here, right button. And I think it's the same issue, is that when we're first hitting this, it's jumping locations. So let's see if we're placing, see how this is functioning. If the selected object is not null and the selected object is in the appropriate mode, okay, then it's going to set the axis, axis X, axis Y. That's of the mouse. Okay. If Alt is being pressed and it's a flower, that's going to allow the additional rotation. If it's an object, it's only going to spin in place. So see, like a table shouldn't be allowed to rotate like that. And we couldn't move it once it was there, but it jumped there immediately upon clicking it. So it's almost like, aha. I think I may have an idea of what the problem is here. If, say, we have a flower selected, and then you right-click on the table, you haven't selected the table. Your flower is still selected.
Incoming transmission from archived footage.
Could be. Could be. Go on.
Nice, 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 nice. So there may be an issue here with basically it's using information from the previously selected item rather than the currently selected item, or it's not changing the selection of the item. That could be. All right, let's check the right mouse button first, because that's where we should be selecting the item. So here, when we click on the right button, if the selected object is not null and the camera, active camera, is not the project camera. Well, that's interesting. So that's because we're selecting the object through the one on the object script. So here, all we're doing is deciding whether or not we're changing the camera. That's what's happening. Okay. I'm not sure I love the way I'm dealing with all this, though. I really feel like I may need to just sort of backtrack and create an input manager to just handle the mouse input instead of trying to have it on 3 different scripts. I have all the camera functions on the camera manager, object functions on the object manager, but I think I really need to just have like a mouse manager or an input manager that handles all of that. I don't know that it's not going to fix the bug. All it's going to do is clean this up a little bit, make it a little bit easier to deal with. Kind of section out. It would also make it more modular in the sense that you could pull the script out and use it in other projects, whereas the way I'm writing it right now, you would never be able to use this mouse code for any other project. It's way too specific for this project, the way I've written it. So that's definitely an option. And you could still, I could still keep a code on the object script, the studio object script. There could still be basically where if you click on that object, you could then go through the mouse manager and just have it pass that object. I don't know. Just trying to think of a better, I think there's better approaches to this that would help me build on this as we go further on down the line, because I can also see potentially when we get further into this, for example, when we go to render, you're putting in cameras and stuff, you might theoretically want to have use of your mouse in a different way because you're in that render mode or that camera mode differently than you would as you're building arrangements. I could see something like that as well. So I definitely like the idea. I don't love the idea of going back and redoing code, but I like the idea of cleaning it up that way. But again, I don't think that is going to solve the exact problem. The problem has got to be, let's see, studio object. Here's our on pointer click, which even just that, I don't love the way we're doing 2 different methods. With the other one, we're detecting anytime there's raw control on the mouse. This one is only detecting if you click over this specific object, which might be okay, especially if I just take this and pass this to a mouse manager or an input manager. Let's see. Object manager instance, selected object is not this object, and it is the correct mode, and you're not holding the mouse down. Then you're going to execute the manual selection function, passing in this game object. So the object manager manual selection is here. All right. Pass in the selected object. If the selected object is not null, you're going to deselect the current object. We might double check that this code is correct. Then you're going to set the selected object to this. Now, this could also be part of the problem, is if there's any kind of asynchronous activity, or because of the fact that we're triggering a double mouse click, 2 different events essentially, we could be running into an issue of sequence where it's switching the selected object after it starts dealing with it. I don't know. This feels like a key one though. Moving position equals selected object transform position. So this is going to be a vector 3, right? Yep. Vector 3. And basically that is going to allow us to manipulate the positioning and the camera positioning from this information. But this feels like something's going wrong there. And that's where I was wondering if I'm pulling a local versus a world position. Because if this is a child object, which the majority of the time it's going to be, if it's a flower, it's going to be the child object of a vase. If it's a vase, it's going to be the child object of a table, and so forth. Then when we pull the selected object transform position, I thought that always, yeah, this says world space. I was like thinking maybe we're accidentally pulling the local, but you have to say local position. When you just pull transform position, it's supposed to be the world space position. Dang. All right, let's take a look at this deselected script. Studio object deselected. Why do I not have deselected? Oh, object deselected. There it is. Well, that's not our issue at all. All this is doing is changing the emission. I'm going to change this to be a shader. We're going to make this look a lot better once I learn it better, because the current system with the colors is a little, I don't love the way it looks to the eye. Like when you drop in a rose and it's bright pink, because it's the red rose with the purple additive selection. I don't know, it's not bad, but we might be able to improve upon this. So, but currently that's all it's doing. This is not a problem whatsoever. So this has nothing to do with our issue. All right, let's go back to our object manager. So then we're going to do object selected. Let's take a look at that. Object selected. Boom. Right here. Object selected. Selected object, studio object. It's going to run object selected on the studio object script. Okay. That again is just setting an emission. Okay. That's it. So now we go back here. Next line, UI Manager, display selected item. So that's up in the corner showing us which item was selected. UI Manager, set configuration of the mode. So, okay. Basically, it's just going to go through and check what, based on what item you just selected, what tools need to show up in the mode menu. If selected object, item mode, room, or selected object is the floor, then switch the camera. Otherwise, switch to project cam. Okay. Well, no. Okay. All right. Basically, all that's happening here is if you selected the room, this is or the floor. Yeah. If it's not the room, or it is the floor, select an object. So that's a weird way of going about it. Otherwise, switch to the project cam. All right, well, again, none of this is our problem. Alright. Might have to create a couple of debugs or pay attention to our positioning, but I still feel like this mouse issue is the key to our unhappiness. That's what I'm thinking. Alright, where did this little issue go? My goodness. I've got way too many things open. I can't find anything. There we go. All right. Trying to make sure I'm not missing any activity over on the YouTube side. I'm not used to fully having that. I need to create some like bot notifications or something to help me monitor that because I'm not used to that. It's brand new. Just started that yesterday. And so if anybody's there on the YouTube side, welcome in. Thank you. Same for those of you here on Twitch. Appreciate you being here, hanging out. All right. Well, I feel like it's got to be within this update issue with the mouse down. It's as soon as you put that mouse down that we run into the problems. Or it could be, let's see, under this get mouse button 0, which is a held mouse button. Issue could certainly be here because the mouse down only occurs for one frame, and usually a mouse click, there's more than one frame where the mouse is actually in the down position. So it's running this, it's adding to our hold duration, basically kind of accumulating a timer to see how long the mouse is being held down to determine whether or not they're trying to move an object. If selected object is not null and we're in the right room, all right, axis X and axis Y is getting the mouse axis. Okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Basically, you're just getting determining where your mouse is at the moment you click on it. or as you're holding it down. Camera manager instance following equals true. If Alt pressed, plural. Otherwise, if the hold duration is greater than the default duration, this is where it's going to move it. Aha. Here we go. I think I've got it. So here we have, it's basically checking to see, has the mouse been held down long enough? Which I believe currently we have our default time at 35 frames. If you're holding it for 35 frames, whatever that equates to, then it's going to trigger. We might change that to a delta time calculation at some point, but for now it's fine. The point is that if they've held it down to where they're trying to move the object, then it's going to go into this calculation of where to move it to. And then after this calculation, it's going to make the actual move. So here is where it's going to take the selected object and it's going to move it to the moving position. So here's what I'm noticing. If it hasn't been held down, if the mouse has been held down for more than one frame, but not enough to signify that we want to move it, which is going to be the case commonly in a lot of clicks. It's going to be a few frames. Then it's going to move the object to the moving position. And we have not set the moving position anywhere in here. Okay, which means it's going to go based off of the last moving position. So we need to, I think that's going to be a problem, is are we setting this moving position at the right time and not doing this first? And that's where the double click, I think, is our issue, our culprit. Okay. So if we pop back over here to our on pointer click, we do the manual selection. That's right. So I think the problem could very well be then that in our manual selection right here, when we set the moving position to the selected object transform position, I think that in the other mouse click, it might be basically setting the position before this is occurring, because they're both being triggered. So that's what we need to fix. All right. So the question is, what's the best way to do that? Again, it kind of comes back to our whole input manager thing, I think. So I'm going to start by putting a comment in here that says this must occur before mouse down action as currently coded. All right, but I think we're gonna reconfigure, or it's getting too late at night. I can't even think of the right term. Wow. Refactor. Thank you. Some code to create an input manager. Boom. Speaking of late, dang. It's that time again. Hey. I know, right? Right? It's crazy. Yeah. So I figured out the cause of the bug, but I haven't even gotten it fixed. That's a lot in one, man, for an entire stream. That is crazy. Blech. That is awful. What the heck? Yeah. All right. I do think it'll be nice to refactor this. I hate refactoring, but it'll be nice to clean this up a little bit. I know I can do a little bit better than... this is a little more congested than I would like, for sure. And having a separate input manager, I think, will definitely help. And it will, like I say, it'll make it more modular so that if I create a good structure to the input manager, then I can just pluck it out and move it to other programs, other projects as well. So, yeah. Let's see. I don't know if we still have folks in here or not. We might. So, you know, maybe we should do a classic rap. Should should we rap? Oh yeah. Let's go. When he says that's a wrap, it means the show's about to end. And while it might seem like crap, we don't mean to offend. Now we can all take a nap and begin to mend from hearing this here rap and hope it don't become a trend. Cause Vale, he's no rapper, he's an ordinary bloke. Might be bad, might be sad, but in the end he's just a dad. In his robe, looking dapper, can't resist a dad joke. Over the top, and he just won't stop. Thinking that deserves a mic drop.
Incoming transmission from archived footage.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Nice. Thank you, sir. Good stuff. All right. Let's see. Do we have anybody on tonight that we can raid? You know, I would send us over to Colleen, but it's kind of funny to, I don't know, I feel weird sending, I don't know how many people we got in here, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Sending to a channel like that feels weird. I don't mind sending it to a channel that's got you know, a low number of viewers, but let's try, boom, let's try this and see what we got here. Software and game development, boom boom. Interactive character design. Some cool projects going on out there, it looks like. People counting. What is this? Is there actually anyone here, or is this just... I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Let's find something a little more interesting. What do we got going on? Do. This is pretty funny. What's this? All right, let's go in and join this developer. Unity first game, final boss design. What do you say? Let's do that. Hey, thank you, sir. You as well. I hope you have a great night. And that goes for everybody. Best of wishes.